Recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZED Games AU.
Welcome to Zed Games.
Welcome.
It's me, Hazel, here in the studio. We have...
my name is Paul, and I'm very happy to be here
nice
this
to meet
evening.
you, Paul.
My name is Ezie, and I'm here.
You're here. You're here for a very special reason.
Yes. It's my last show on Zed Games.
He's leaving us.
Uh-huh. It wasn't an easy decision.
Whoa. That's exciting.
Wow.
Oh,
The eye rolls are audible.
Disarmed.
I
Wow.
mean, it takes every ounce of power that I have, especially as a dad, every time I say your name, to not just make her like, oh, easy my name, or something like that, or this is easy, or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're allowed to. It's
Yeah,
your prerogative in
it
life.
is your
Now you
name.
can do that.
I've made a terrible mistake in nicknaming myself that, but yeah, I'm not regretting it. It's not in the sense that like it's not hard for people to forget. Sorry.
Well,
I prefer not hard puns than it's good. It's one step of logic to get to it. It lands or it doesn't, and that's fine. The conversation moves on.
Mm-hmm.
People have to take that second to think. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I like that too. I like engaging people's brains.
Yeah.
we
My
got
name's
a
Ezie.
pretty-
It's not hard to remember.
That's
yeah,
right.
We got a pretty jam-packed show tonight. We got some gaming news. We got something we need to talk about. We need to talk about Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yes, we do. It's been pending for a while.
It's coming up. Just a few minutes. And after that, we got to talk about something extra.
I'm getting like some intense eye contact here.
You see, when I was a kid, I was afraid of making eye contact, and then I fixed that, and then I got too good at it.
Oh wow! Now you can see my
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I hope it's pretty.
I'm with you. I started like, I'm going to start staring people around. It became too intense. And then I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I also feel like making contact with someone is a good idea. And no, that got too intense for people too quickly. Like putting an arm on their shoulder, hand on their shoulder or something. No, too far. Go back. That was a late teens, early 20s bad idea.
I feel like it's really appropriate on the gaming show. We talk about awkward social
Yeah, well,
ability.
that's enough about us being autistic. Here's the news from our dear friend Toby.
This week in gaming news. Club EA. Electronic Arts has been in the headlines this week after announcing a new Lord of the Rings franchised game. The Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth. The game, developed by Capital Games, is rumoured to be a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes reskin, with all the free-to-play collections you would expect. In more surprising news, EA and FIFA have parted ways, announcing that after this year's FIFA 23, a new era will begin next year with EA Sports FC Series. Thanks to the over 300 licenses EA has accumulated, EA insists things will not be changing much and fans can expect the same modes, leagues, tournaments, clubs and athletes. In response, FIFA announced the split will allow FIFA to launch new games developed with other studios and publishers with multiple non-simulation games to launch later this year. FIFA president Gianni Infantino insisted that the only authentic real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global original title. Microsoft Integrate Access. Microsoft this week released information regarding a whole new ecosystem of accessories, both for adaptation for accessible design and for Xbox Cloud streaming. Coming later this year, Microsoft is set to release a series of adaptive controllers that allow for custom inputs and the ability to connect and design 3D printed toppers and tails to completely customize the design suitable to an individual's need. But if one is not enough, the Microsoft Adaptive Hub allows 4 wireless connects to these adaptive buttons and 3 more devices as needed, allowing people with physical limitations empowerment in the digital age. And talking of access, Microsoft has announced the evolution of their online gaming cloud, beginning with Fortnite. You can now play Fortnite free on iOS, Android, or PC with Windows if you have a Microsoft account. This Everywhere initiative from Microsoft is planned to expand to your home TV as well, with a puck or dongle device similar to the Amazon Stick or Roku Puck, and will have access to a library of games through the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. However, should you already have a Samsung Smart TV, Microsoft is currently working with them to create a native app. This initiative is set to be available within the next 12 months. Speaking of Microsoft, Microsoft Excel integration is coming to EVE Online. Colloquially known as spreadsheets in space, EVE Online is finally getting native integration, with EVE and Microsoft creating the APIs to finally help manage the complex in-game economy. While the API is in its early phase of development, the number-crunching fans of EVE Online let out literal cheers from the audience at the announcement. Activision Blizzard still making the headlines. In the wake of the multitude of accusations and lawsuits made against Activision Blizzard, the second full-time leadership role has been filled to combat the created culture of constant sexual harassment and gender-based discrimination within the company, and she comes from Disney. Jessica Martinez is credited with 14 years of experience at Disney and now takes on the role of Vice President Head of Culture, with the responsibility of growing and implementing our culture strategy, while leading the learning and development team and working closely with communications, events, and other leaders within Blizzard. And she has her work cut out for her, with Raven Software QA staff actively seeking support from other Activision Blizzard staff to aid in unionization. Since Activision Blizzard higher-ups chose not to voluntarily recognise the Game Workers Alliance earlier this year, staff of Raven Software have sought to be recognised by the government agency National Labour Relations Board. Internal emails reportedly show Activision Blizzard emailing staff with the graphic "Please vote no" after a town hall meeting in April. The ballot is set to be counted over video conference on May 23rd. And now for some new releases. Tuesday, May 10, turn-based strategy game Song of Conquest from Coffee Stain Publishing is coming to PC. This War of Mine Final Cut is also being released on Xbox Series S and X and PlayStation 5. And Brisbane's own award-winning Unpacking is coming to PlayStation 4 and 5. Wednesday, May 11, Brigadine comes to PC, and the PC roguelite Source of Madness is releasing for Xbox, PlayStation and the Switch. And on Thursday, May 12, become a detective in the live-action mystery adventure game The Centennial Case, a Sejima story, coming to PC, PlayStation and Switch. And to PC, also on May 12, battle legends and gods in the isometric ARPG Achilles Legends Untold, or try Cantata and fight for your faction's survival in this indie pixel arts turn-based strategy game. And finally, rock out with your cactus out in the indie platformer Flipping Cactus. And that's all this week in gaming news.
Thank you, Toby.
Thanks, Tobes, or Tibby Toe as I like to call him.
Toby!
Just now.
T-Man. T-Bone.
The T-Dog. And quite a week for news.
A hell of a week for news.
Yeah, massive.
So I am extremely excited about the Microsoft Accessibility Hub and all of the accessories that come with it because, I mean, for the uninitiated, I have hypermobility spectrum disorder, and playing games makes my hands hurt. So
Yeah. It's great. The because they already had the accessibility controller that was pegged more at Xbox, which could be used with a bunch of stuff that was like good for plugging in. But this is sort of a new suite of stuff that's very easily programmable and modifiable.
It's all designed to have 3D printed bits put on it.
Yeah.
So like if the default thing that you get doesn't fit with like the way your body needs to interact with it, you can just 3D print a bit that goes on it and helps you use it.
The promo video is really good. It's got a few people with different physical disorders just showing like this is what I can do now. And it makes life just a lot easier.
Microsoft have always been really good at that.
I think the way they've been marketing this kind of also helps for abled people to see it and be like, oh, I understand why this exists and why we should care about it.
Look, and also on a completely non-helpful, selfish level, this stuff's really cool to make hacked controllers to do crazy fun things with.
Yeah.
It's just good for everyone across the board. Helps the visibility and all that. It's wonderful. The big weird news, I think, was Microsoft making Fortnite free to play on xCloud.
That's weird.
It goes sort of under the radar because Fortnite's not necessarily like it is the biggest or one of the biggest games in the world. I'm not sure where we currently run with that, but we don't necessarily care that much directly about it, but it circumvents Apple's security, so now everyone with an iOS device can play Fortnite again, but also it gets Microsoft every single account made on their thing as well. So it gets them millions of users and gives a little bit of a finger up to Apple.
Sweet data.
It just made me think about today at work. I was helping an old man internet, and he was telling me about how he wanted to make sure it was nice and consistent so his grandson could play Fortnite and he wouldn't get shot.
It's important.
Did I ever tell you my Fortnite story? So a lady in a queue, I work in a retail place that sells games. I'm not going to say where. But this particular person was asking for their son or, I don't know, grandkid or something. Can I please get the game Fork Knife?
Ooh.
And another
That's
person
the
in the
joke.
queue actually corrected them and said, I think you mean Fortnite. And this lady was like, no, I know what my son wants. You know, it's fork knife. And I'm like, it's actually free for one, so we don't sell it. But
That's literally
there's the door. You can leave now.
People call it as a joke.
I know, but I think possibly it's one of two things. She genuinely thought it was fork knife, or the kid is trolling
Well,
parents.
in some news that I really don't care about, EA and FIFA are getting divorced.
Oh yeah,
yes.
that's huge. Speaking of biggest games in the world, like FIFA is again.
I'm not sure I've ever played it.
Probably not enough. Look, the last FIFA I liked was FIFA 95. So,
Oh my god.
But it's like EA don't need them anymore. It costs them a lot of money to have that license, and all it gives them is the name. They've still got all the
played
teams and all
soccer?
the leagues and everything.
Yeah, no, I've played a few FIFA games. I actually have.
I mean, you
FIFA.
played soccer in real life for a bit, didn't you?
Yes, football.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
I didn't want to mislead our Australian listeners.
I mean, look, it's
We said
into thinking
football,
that
not
you were
footy.
a rugby player.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
a difference between
Yeah.
footy and
Okay.
football.
Well,
Apparently, I don't know. There's only one true football, and it's the one where you use your foot to kick the ball and you don't run around with it.
It's true.
It's alright. I've probably alienated a lot of listeners.
It's true. Yeah.
Anyone who listens to this show dedicatedly as gamers, you know, they're like, yeah, sport.
yeah.
Other than Nintendo Switch Sports, I'm out.
I would love to meet the person who listens to every episode of Zed Games and is also really into footy.
They're just crying. Sorry, guys.
sorry, footy fan 211. I saw like some extended family talking like that aren't gamers. And they were under the impression that they weren't making the games anymore. Like, okay, we'll see how the marketing sorts itself out in the next year. It'll be fine. I'm sure they make money hand over fist forever.
I kind of want
Yeah.
to see what happens to the FIFA license, but I also don't care.
You know, you're not going to actively search it.
I think it would be funny if they sold it to someone and then they made a really bad game out of it.
I think that's.
And everyone
I think
hated
at least the first year or two, I think that is almost
Probably.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
I
but
hope
we shall
this
see.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many FIFA fans out there right now crying,
Yeah.
probably.
Well, that's enough news, I think.
Sorry, I have to say, in important crab news.
Oh.
Yeah, there was an Indie World Nintendo Direct last night. There wasn't a lot in it, but they did show off another Crab's Treasure, which is a Crab Souls-like, which is about taking different shells and
Crab Souls.
being crabs.
Shut up and take my money.
Crab news is important news. Well, see, yes, we are about to talk about Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo. A game I know very little about, aside from having watched the release trailer.
Oh,
I mean, that'll summarize it.
Yeah,
and
all I've heard about it is that like once you start playing it, you've kind of played most of it.
But do you remember the announcement at E3 with all the cool memes and gifs with Nakamura when she was like going,
that was
"Hey,
cool.
I'm cute," and then she left the
That was
project.
cool.
So
That was really encouraging for the game, that moment.
Yeah.
I think I was confused for a while. Anyway, let's jump in,
roll.
shall we?
Let's jump in.
Okay, I do enjoy an intro. Okay, Microsoft's Bethesda presents a PS5 exclusive that's also on PC. In the wonderful fantasy land of Shibuya, Tokyo, you're dead, but by a stroke of luck, it's only temporary, and you're quickly possessed by the ghost of KK Slider from Animal Crossing, except in this game he isn't a dog, and he is a private investigator. In an extra stroke of luck, being ghost-possessed saves you from the effects of a fog that at that moment is rolling into town, and rapturing everyone it touches. A bunch of spooky ghost monsters appear, but you've got magic hand powers now, so you shoot them with your magical equivalents of a pistol, a shotgun, and a rocket launcher. Now explore an ever-expanding city, buying dog food from magic cats, misusing phone booths, and praying in various ways, all while trying to defeat the man behind it all and save your sister. Ghostwire Tokyo is a first-person, single-player, horror-adjacent shooter developed by Tango Gameworks, who have previously been responsible for the Evil Within games and led by the legendary developer Shinji Mikami. The game came out in March, and it's taken me a while to get around to reviewing it. In fact, I've dragged my heels getting to this point. I stopped playing for a while after I initially had a bit of a lukewarm reception, but now I've returned to the game for a fresh take. So, Ease is going to join me chatting here. What were your initial impressions of Ghostwire Tokyo?
Okay, so I actually really like it. I will sort of like touch on what Hazel said earlier though. Like once you've played a little bit, you've pretty much played the whole game. In that there's a lot of repetitive feelings about it. But what really drew me to it was actually the mechanics. Especially the being able to shoot magical abilities using hand signs and such. A little bit like Naruto in that sense. But I liked that you could use the DualSense and the touchpad to draw the symbols onto the touchpad of the DualSense that actually enabled you.
When you're doing like the dismissive spells and everything.
Yep,
I've actually never drawn with it.
So you played PC, right?
No, I'm playing PS5.
So I play PS5 as well, and you can use the touchpad.
I must have missed that. I just used the analog stick.
Oh, right. Well, you can do both. The touchpad is definitely the selling point, and that was the reason why I got the game, because I was like, I've never seen a mechanic like this. And they do it really well, it's just there isn't enough around that mechanic to sell the game, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I said in my mocking intro that it basically gives you a pistol, a shotgun, and a rocket launcher, but
yes.
the animation, the way it sells the magic, is very good, like the hand effects, and it's ethereal weaving, they call it.
Yes.
And also when you're attacking an enemy, it takes sort of a cue from the modern Doom games, where you get the health down and then they go into a state and you can rip out their core.
Yep.
And that involves you doing a bunch of cat's cradle hand movements and physically ripping it out of them. And it looks cool.
It is very visually pleasing, yes.
I think, so combat is going to be a big thing in the game here. What it doesn't take from Doom is the reason why you're supposed to do those kill moves in Doom. It doesn't give you the same sort of loop of resource gathering. It doesn't give you an advantage for being aggressive and getting in close. It's just kind of like, oh, this is the way of finishing them off, and using a little bit less ammo.
And things don't all, like, stack the same way either. Like in Doom, you kill one enemy and then you get on like a roll, and then you're bouncing and you're sort of stacking, the adrenaline. It's
about getting a pattern, getting a movement going, getting a rhythm to it.
Yeah.
And there is no rhythm to Ghostwire Tokyo. The only times I ever died in the game was when I was just taking bigger risks to try and make it more interesting. But truthfully, if I just play conservatively and just throw spells at people from a distance...
Yeah, you never die.
Yeah.
And you can definitely do that. You can definitely stay as like a ranged person. I predominantly played very cautiously. I know you said horror adjacent, but for me it was actually quite terrifying because I get scared in everything. But I was really compelled to play purely because of that mechanic. It is not nearly as visually stunning as I thought it would be either. Like, I felt a little let down. Like, when I first saw the trailer, it really sold me on narrative, like, and world building. I really thought that I was going to dive further into sort of Japanese mythology, which they do definitely do that. There's definitely a lot of that.
Mythological background. Weirdly, it's a little bit almost from Software-ish, where most of the detail is in the item description and in the prelude, which is a different product, which is free, which is just a little VN sort of story.
Right.
Which gives you what happened beforehand. And kind of what happened before the game is the more interesting story than the story that's in the game.
Yeah, I did really like the premise. I've only played roughly, like, I played a little bit today to sort of refresh and re-jog my memory, because I played, like, as I came out of surgery, so I was a bit groggy. But it's still really satisfying. It's just I can't bring myself to finish it. What was your reason for not being able to finish it?
Oh, okay. So the line that I removed from the intro, because I wanted to cut, I didn't want to taint the thing. Was like, it's like I came in with a fresh take, and now I can say that I hate this game. It is just like everything about each element is entirely solid. Like, it's taken a lot from Ubisoft open world games, and you get so the game starts very linear. You're restricted by fog, so you're just exploring the city streets, but it's just one path at first. Scripted sequences are really cool, like they're really well animated. It'll be a bit like haunted house stuff. You're going through a hospital, and all the walls are moving, and you're shifting between planes and everything. Those sections are actually pretty fun. Oh no, fun is where I'm saying it's not. They're very visually interesting, so it's at least visually fun. But most of the game is just spent on the streets of Shibuya. And I have been to Japan, as many millions before me have, and they do a pretty good job of making it look like the streets. But what they don't do is make it a fun place to explore.
Right.
You do a lot of like jumping up onto the roofs and parkouring across roofs, but it's not like an open world like Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild, like where you see something and you're like, I want to go investigate that, and getting there is something like that. It's you get up to a roof and there's a whole bunch of collectibles in the game, mostly souls of the people that have been raptured away. And you go, okay, well, I'm on this building and I can see the souls on that building, so I guess I'll glide over there, jump down, go back up to my tall building, glide over to the other one, get those souls. And why do I want these souls?
Yeah.
It gives me more XP, and I can go up my tech tree, and I look at the tech tree, and like you look at, when you see a tech tree, you look at the end and you say, well, what am I going to get? I'm going to get, oh, look, I can rip out everyone's hearts here, and this one makes me explode the world. And it's like,
cool.
It's faster, more ammo, and that's it. It's like, so I never really get any particularly impactful changes to my character.
I feel it was really frustrating to play after coming from Horizon Forbidden West, because Forbidden West is, in my opinion, a master at doing that open world, enticing you to explore. They're so good at that. And Ghostwire is not.
Areas. The honest Ghostwire is, it's not that big of an area, but that area is all the same. It's all Tokyo at night. And
there's very little player reward for that exploration as well. It's really
higher
combat
ammo
driven.
counts is there, but yeah, it's got side content, but I stopped doing the side content pretty quickly because it really just comes down to doing more combat, and the combat's not fun. I eventually just turned down the difficulty to easy just to speed the combat up. So
just so you can blitz through it faster.
Yeah, like, let's get through this. So throughout the game, basically the progress is you go to Torii gates and you cleanse them with a prayer, and that opens up the fog around the area. So you progressively make the world bigger and bigger, and you explore it. There's like the enemies are probably the best thing, or enemies and other creatures in the world, because there's yokai around, the visitors, which are all the monsters around. It's salarymen with no face and umbrellas and stuff, like kids with no heads, like some of them are based on folklore and some of them are just sort of like cool looks.
Also like horror tropes, It's interesting that like in that beginning segment of the game, when the opening cutscene, the premise is everyone appears to die around you and become a ghost, more or less. And then these ghosts are trying to kill you, but then you become possessed by, is it Kiki?
It's KK.
KK.
As in KK Slider from Animal
Crossing. Yeah. So KK, and then most of your journey is you trying to battle for control of your own body. As well.
Yeah, you get sort of know each other, but neither KK is probably more interesting than Akai, I think, is the main character. But yeah,
I can't even remember his name.
Really, that says a lot about it. Because the thing is, we start as he's dead, and other than caring about his sister, that's about all we.
Yeah, so
we get
his
a little
pure
bit of
motivation is to save his sister, who's been essentially taken.
But that you can feed dogs and pat cats, and that's pretty good. So I think it's
overall it's a 6 out of 10. Now,
also, if you pre-ordered it, you got a bunch of costumes, but it's a first-person game, and the mirrors don't work.
So what's the point of showing that off?
It makes you look real funny in cutscenes. Ghostwire Tokyo is available on PC and PS5. We both played it on PS5. You can grab it now. It's got lots of style, but just don't think it lands for me.
Wait till it goes on sale, and then it's worth
it. Already
playing.
Has several.
Yeah.
Well, that was a wonderful review of Ghostwire Tokyo. I feel like I learned a lot, but also learned nothing.
Yeah, that's Ghostwire.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
Get a lot of icons on the map, and if you want to do them, you can, and if you don't.
A lot of really interesting concepts that sound like they didn't really convert into gameplay.
It is literally just a combat-focused game. And the combat, it gets really monotonous.
Yeah, combat's not great. They're looking at doing a sequel, and hopefully hopefully they can work it out.
Come on, Bethesda!
All right, well.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
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 Perfect. Thank you.
Welcome back, listeners.
Thank you, Hazel.
It's me, Hazel, and I'm here with Ezie.
Ezie!
For whom it is his last show. And Paul, for whom it is definitely not his last show.
Probably not, no.
We'll never get like them.
You never know.
I hope not. Yes, I started this show as a...
You started this show?
I started on this show as a small-time little girl. And now I'm a full-grown man.
Now you're a big boy.
What a transition that has been. This is my last official show on Zed Games. Been my baby for like 3-ish years. a bit, maybe a bit longer.
For too long, it was literally just kind of your baby.
Yeah, I mean, the story of how I ended up in this spot is a little long-winded, so I'll shorten it. But essentially, the show sort of more or less fell into my lap just as I was finishing my games design degree at SAE in Brisbane here, and then COVID hit. And I'd never produced a show before. I've done a couple of reviews on with Razor Ray, who used to be on the show, and he's the original show creator. He's incredible, lovely human being, both on and off air, just an all-round great human being. And he sort of took me under his wing. My very first review ever on Zed Games was Overwatch. To date how long I've been on, and that was the beta, by the way. So it had been a while.
Even better.
And then I really enjoyed my time sort of chatting about Overwatch, and I remember Ray coaching me on air, like prompting me with questions to review, to help me with my review. And then after I finished, uni, I just ended up on the show, and COVID hit, and I lost half the team. Lots of things happened for lots of people around the country with COVID, around the world really, so it was a very dramatic shift, and I went to pretty much solo producer for about a year. There wasn't a single episode I missed. I was in studio every single week, and I was doing the news pretty much. It was just Caitlin, who's no longer with us on the show, and Rani, so it was just the three of us, and Rani was pretty much my only person to record from home to send reviews in, so I was really strapped. And I remember thinking, how am I going to get more people on this show during a pandemic? And I went, wait, there are gamers. There are plenty of people with microphones at home who know how to talk about games. So surely enough, put out a Google form, sent it out into the world, and then got some pretty good responses. Look at where we are now. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster, but if it weren't for all the experience of producing this show, it wouldn't enable me the skills I now have to hopefully create something new that I cannot speak much about. But
watch the space.
Wow. Yes, watch the 4ZZZ space. I will be back.
Call the show when it was just you and me Brisbane's most unintentional transgender rare.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, this is a very queer show. Yeah. Think about that, listener.
Think deeply.
But surprisingly, Zed, 4ZZZ as a whole is a very queer station. There's a lot of queer representation in the station, so it's awesome. It's a cool place to be, and it's a great place to be if you love games too. Everyone here plays something. So.
Yeah. Everyone on the other shows tends to be excited by something when we chat to them in the hall.
Oh, you're from Zed Games. I play Sudoku. Oh, cool.
I love Sudoku.
Have you done today's Wordle? Oh, I haven't finished it actually.
Oh no.
There we go.
I've not done Wordle. Anyway.
I did do today. It was horrible.
Oh, did you? I've never installed it. I have not played it.
It's just a website.
Look, I'm dyslexic, and anything that has words as the main focus, I'm like, I'll avoid.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
It's like, too much. But yeah, thank you for having me on this, wet, dreary...
On your own show?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. Zara is now taking, the helm. They are your official executive producer as of the 1st of June, and I will officially not be. No.
Banned from the studio.
But I have been banished to the Shadow Realm. Yes.
We'll still drag you out of hiding and put you on sometimes, I'm sure.
Look, if there's a game that comes out that I'm super into, because I'm still very much in the industry and around, I'll be like, hey, can I do a recording? I'll send you something. So, you may not, you may still hear something from me yet.
I think we'll always have a spot open.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so. I'll still be around, so.
I think this has been a wonderful show and a wonderful way to send off our dear friend and our dear former leader.
I'm reaching out to touch your hands.
That's right.
There. Yeah, okay, we're all touching hands.
This is not COVID safe at all.
Time to load him into the Viking longboat and fire the burning arrows.
You can now officially uninstall Ez from Steam, the Ezie me. I'm going to be a game that plays in the background now,
Yeah, well, we've got to get the trading cards.
You keep doing several gigabyte updates every now and
then. Leave me on auto update, guys. Don't let me.
We will.
Don't let me fade away.
New Back to the Future. Don't just make sure they're always updating.
Oh, it's such a somber moment.
It's
Okay.
time for us to say goodnight.
Thanks to everyone who messaged in and said bye to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we just...
Aww.
But...
It's time for us to sing.
We're singing?
So long.
Oh, no.
Farewell. Oh, no.
This is not what gamers do. You just send me a really weird GIF and say bye, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll send you a really weird...
Excellent. I expect. I want to see it.
Yeah, well, good night and goodbye.
We are really making it very final.
He'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back.
Thanks
Bye.
for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at Zed Games AU.
See you next time.